Hello students, I am Ishan Trivedi. Welcome you in this video lecture series. Today I am going to discuss about rail-based transit system. In this session, I am going to cover the introduction to mass transit system and the rail-based transit system, which is one of the classification of mass transit system. So first, let us have an introduction of mass transit system. This mass transit system comprises with two terms, that is mass and the transit. So let us first understand what is the transit. Transits are the means of transporting the massive number of passengers, or you can say freight, on a separated route, especially in the urban areas. Here, the routes on which the passengers and freight are transported is called transit system in particularly urban areas. Now understand the mass transit. It is the integrated group of transportation facilities which enables the people or freight to be transferred from one place to another. Here, these transportation facilities includes railway track or dedicated separate corridor and the railway station and their various components. Here, we need to understand why this mass transit study has been carried out. So first, we have to understand the purpose of mass transit study. It is important to assess the quality of existing transit service, to study the operations, problems and the location of stops, and that's why we require mass transit study. To establish the extent of usage and determine the vehicle types and various routes, then to obtain the characteristics of mass transit riders, then to plan, design and operate mass transit services, then scheduling of these mass transit services, then to conduct an economic analysis of public transportation and various operations which has been carried out for this public transportation and their improvements. Now, there are the classification of mass transit system. On the basis of technology, or you can say transit technology, mass transit systems are classified in two parts, that is rail-based transit system and the road-based transit system. In this session, I am going to cover rail-based transit system. So now let us start with the rail-based transit system. It mainly classifies in four categories. First is metro train. This is the image of Ahmedabad metro. Second is monorail. In Mumbai, the transportation is being done by this monorail. Then light rail transit system. It is one of the updation of metro train, where 2 to 3 coaches, or you can say articulated service, has been provided. Next is Skyrail. This image is from China. In China, many of the cities are upgraded with the Skyrail. You can have this case study and understand how they have come up with this new phenomenon. I will discuss here brief introduction of these four transit systems. So first, let us start with the metro trains, or you can say rapid rail transit, RRT. The first modern rapid transit in India was Calcutta Metro, and it was started in its operation in 1984. Then Delhi Metro in New Delhi is the second conventional metro which began in 2002. Afterwards, the Bangalore metro services were there, and in many of the cities like Ahmedabad and the other cities where the metro runs in a particular dedicated corridor, as well as some of them are under the construction or some of them are under planning stages as well. Now, understand the characteristics of metro. Metro are usually adopted in high density corridor of densely urbanized area. It uses the train of high performance and electrically powered rail cars. Metros require fully separated right of way with manual signal or automatic control. They require high platform stations at elevation, or sometimes it is at grade or at subgrade. In this metro route, there are no requirement of grade crossing. That means a dedicated railway track is there and road is crossing over it, or you can say a signalized where a railway and a road crossing each other. So there is no requirement of any grade crossing. Then if I'm talking about advantages and disadvantages of metro, these are, if I'm talking about the advantages of metro, it has very high capacity of passengers. It is almost around 20,000 to 90,000 ppHPD, means passenger per hour per day direction. It is free from the interference of other traffic, and that's why the travel time can be minimized. Then it has very high much performance and operational speed. If I'm talking about the disadvantages, it is most expensive option. There may be require high infrastructure costs which elaborate the stations as well. And there is a lengthy construction time which is almost more than 3 years. Now, if I'm talking about the type of metro, these are classified in 3 parts, that is subway, heavy rail at grade and elevated. Subways are provided where there is highly densified area, or you can say highly densely populated area like CBD area. In Ahmedabad also you will find, in particularly CBD area in Kalapur, it goes under subway. Here we are eliminating the elevated part and providing access to subway. But what would happen here? Here the cost of construction by constructing this subway is very much high, which is almost 4 to 5 times than the construction of rail at grade. Then if I'm talking about heavy rail at grade, in this category particularly, the metro runs over the ballast track the way our Indian Railway runs on the ballast track. It is one of the cheapest way of flying the metro. Generally, metro at grade stations are provided at the suburban area and the main city distance. Means it connects the suburban area and the main city. Then heavy rail at elevated. Instead of operating in the shared right of way, the way it has been done in at grade, this system is operated on an elevated bridge. It is effective as a metro can be plied with the general traffic. The cost of this construction of elevated metro is twice that of grade. So this is what the introduction of metro. You may have several case studies regarding this metro. You can refer Delhi Metro, Ahmedabad Metro as well. Next is monorail system, means MRS, which comprise a single rail track with a vehicle suspended from, or you can say straddling the guided way. Here monorail vehicles are wider than the supporting guided way structure. In most of the cases the rail is elevated, but it can also be at grade or in subway tunnels. Here you can see in this picture where the guided way is narrower than the platform of the railway, and that's why it requires minimum space in terms of its pillar and girder as well. Now the advantages and disadvantages of monorail. As I said, it requires minimum space in horizontally and vertically. It requires minimum space for footprint for support of pillar. It is physically not capable of derailing, and that is one of the major advantage. It is capable of climbing and descending the steeper gradient as well, and there is quieter operation are easier, means the turning and changing of the track is easier and it is easy to operate. If I'm talking about the disadvantages of monorail, then it requires a dedicated track, and this track cannot be directly integrated with any other type of rail system or road. The stations require special arrangement and which is hard to access. There is higher cost per passenger per kilometer, and the emergency exit is very difficult here. And at last, the maintenance costs are also higher. If I'm talking about the types of monorail, then there are suspended type, straddle type, and maglev monorail. If I'm talking about the suspended type monorail, then in this type, a single steel rail is suspended from an elevated structure. Means instead of RCC girder, there is a steel structure, and the elevated structure is also of steel, and along with a single rail runs. The vehicle weight is supported by the rails, and this type of rail is mostly used in the amusement park. Next is straddle type. In this type, the coaches are moved over a RCC beam and supported over RCC column. This type of system is most suitable for the congested areas like CBD. Then next is maglev monorail. Here the maglev monorail operates on the same principle that is of a straddle monorail. But here the difference is that it operates on a different technology, and that is the magnetic levitation. And it is one of the most faster and energy efficient technology. Next system is light rail transit system, LRTS. These systems are being increasingly used in the urban areas all over the world as a mode of rail based on public transport. You can say it is one of the modified version of tram which share the right of way along the road system. You can see here the railway track and the road system, the right of way is being shared among all these two separate type of transit. Here this LRT uses relatively lighter vehicle and lighter track as well. It can be developed in stages from a modern tramway that shares its right of way with the other traffic to the rapid transit. Means, as I said, that it is one of the modified version. The at initial stage you can provide the tramway and you can just update it based on our requirement, and it is one of the modern tramway. So if I'm talking about the major components or characteristics of LRT system, these includes the infrastructure consisting of right of way, superstructure, station, signal, and power system as well. These are the light vehicles which consist of length of 25 meter to 35 meter, or you can say it is a single vehicle which is provided with 2 to 3 attached vehicle, or you can say articulated coaches. And next is the operation. If I'm talking about the advantages of LRT, it uses light articulated vehicle as I said, and its capacity can be higher than the bus system. Here the capital cost is lower, that is one of the key benefit of this LRT system. Then it is possible to start as a tram, and we can upgrade this rapid rail transit system and their standards as the traffic and the available resources which increase in the future. It can negotiate the sharp curve about 75-meter radius, and it can follow the city street alignment, which is one of the beneficiary part of ANITA. If I'm talking about the disadvantages of LRT, it is not suitable for the small cities. Because of the sharing of the right of way, the safety of pedestrian and the cyclist becomes more important as well. So here we have to take care about pedestrian and the cyclists which are merging in these mixed traffic conditions. If I'm talking about the types of LRT, then these are of LRT with shared right of way, LRT at grade, and LRT at elevated. If I'm talking about shared right-of-way LRT system. It is improved version of tram and operated along with the mixed traffic, and due to this the speed is significantly low, as well as the passenger carrying capacity is also reduces. Here the safety becomes the main issue as it is operated along with the mixed traffic. Then LRT at grade. They are operated at grade with the standard gauge track, and the efficiency is significantly more when it compared with the LRT operation in shared right of way. Then LRT at elevated. Instead of operating in the shared right of way, the system is operated in the elevated bridges, and it is effective where the sufficient ROW is narrow, or you can say not available. Last is Skyrail. Skyrail is a modified version of light rail transit system. It is a two-line urban mass transit system operating on Bombardier Advanced Rapid Transit technology. It is fully automated train running mainly on elevated tracks, but sometimes it may be suspended type also. Here you can see the suspended type of Skyrail. As these trains are fully automated, there are lesser chances of accidents and it has higher operating speeds. These are the advantages of Skyrail, and if I'm talking about the disadvantages, then the capital investment is very high and the accessibility to Sky Station is also a major problem in the Skyrail. So this is the basic introduction of rail-based transit system. You may refer various cities rail-based transit system. It can be a rapid, it can be LRT, or it can be monorail. So just go through various cities examples so you have better idea how they solve their problem and why the particular system has been provided in that particular region. Now I'm ending this session here. I hope you have learned about the mass transit system. Thanks for watching this video.